Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to RTG TV for the final race of the week here on the channel. We're here in Australia for GP2's race. Apologies for the slight late start, but anyway, we've got the majority of Q1 left to go. We're here in Melbourne, Australia, here at the Albert Park circuit. This circuit has got 4 DRS zones, and it's the most on the F1 calendar. 14 corners, it's 9 to the right and 5 to the left. It's 5.277 kilometres and 3.297 miles in length. We were first here in 1996, which is an awful long time ago now. We've got 29 laps to race around this circuit. The tyres we'll be using for this evening's race are the C4 softs, C3 mediums and C2 hard tyre. The standings are as follows. Chuck still leading the way with 150 points, but only 8 points behind is Pippo Kennedy. In third place is Coix Gamer on 109. He's dropped back a little bit. Ginger's on 104 and a 99 points for Chuckle in the Mercedes. He's in the McLaren tonight. We played a bit of a practical joke where I jumped into the Mercedes and pretended I was going to stay there. He's decided not to drive in the Mercedes this evening and stay in the McLaren, and he's starting a time on the wet tyre. I don't think he's got the memo for the Intermediate Championship. We've got 17 drivers this evening, one of those being a reserve. That's Cavalis. And that's about it. Looks like we haven't got many actually trying to go and start their laps on intermediates. And of course, you've had him this Monday already, and he's back again with me this evening. Lee, we never used to like Australia, but seeing as how much they've changed it, it seems a lot better than it was now.
Yeah, I would say that practically half the track now is changed. It's still got that general Albert Park layout, but there is like a few changes. I would say, like from turn 7 all the way down to what was known back then as turns 11 and 12, I think it was. It's when it was a chicane in the middle, but now it's turns 9 and 10, and yeah, so it was. Like you said earlier on, there was 4 DRS zones, but there is only 2 activation points, so it is going to be quite a big chance to get a pull away from the car once you overtake them. If you manage to get a good launch out of the final corner or a good launch out of turn 7 as you're heading right down that back straight down to the fast left-right of turns 9 and 10. We've had a few times already put in. You know, it looks like Tiny is the one on that was on the intermediates, and he got in a time of 122.7. Chuckle is going to be starting out he's going to be not going through into Q2, it seems, up to now, depending on how things go. We've got 2 cars that will be going out in Q1. We've got, let's see, we've got Koyaks just starting a lap. We've got Matt just coming up to turn 9 in a few moments, where we've seen, actually just a few weeks ago, a little bit of joy happen in the real F1, that was. Well, for all the non-Red Bull fans out there, that was absolutely paradise, seeing that, just the smoke belting out of Max Verstappen's car.
Yeah, that was rear tyre, wasn't it? Hopefully something like that happens again at the end of this weekend, potentially.
China.
As we got the first sprint race of the year, and of course I only remembered today having a look. Obviously the sprint format is changed in terms of the way it's crashed out. Those two might be the two who end up out in Q1, and GTR just starting his first lap. This man here has not got himself into Q2 once this season, and he's not going to do it again as he actually runs off the road at turn 2, Lee, and straight into the wall, and he's crashed out.
Was that GTR you said there?
Yes.
Yeah. Oof. So technically, no one has to do another lap really. They're gonna They just need to do, well, a slow lap really, even jump out on the inters. And there you go, you've got your lap done then and there. Of course, the one who is going to be getting out, the intermediate one, will be Tiny.
Yeah, he's taking
Like
that. There, you just turn your headphones down. It's worse than usual today, actually.
My mistake. I always forget about that. Yeah,
I only ever seem to notice it on stream as well.
Yeah, it's just sometimes I forget just with having music on in my ears, absolutely blaring, like it's a rave or something. But right now, Cavalis coming around turn 7, and Koyak's just coming into turn 11. Now he's just in the final sector. See what time he's going to be able to put on the board. Of course, like I said, it's not going to really matter at this stage. Just complete a lap and you'll be through, as Chuckle and GTR definitely won't be going through. Dario will be out in the next session, and same with Stephen Jones. So we're only going to have 13 competing to go into Q3 by the looks of things. Oh, who was that? It's the lead that's spun out, I think, at the final corner. And I think Perrin Bowden, I'm unsure if he was getting out the way or not, coming up to turn 6 there. Around turn 5 into 6. Unsure. Oh, Tiny's actually, thought he was out again on the intermediates there, but he's not. Of course, like I said, no one has to really set a time. Lennyman saying, how's it going, odds? Yep, going quite good there, Lennyman. And Perrin Bowden saying, I'm back. Hey guys, welcome along. Perrin Bowden, well, you're going to be getting through into Q3. So yeah, Q2 anyway, so you're not going to really have to worry about that right now.
Sorry, mate, I realised I forgot something and I was trying to find it and I still can't, but I'll have to give up. Apologies.
That's cool. Pippo Kennedy, the only one who's still to set a time. Yeah, no, he needs to do is just cross the line without validating.
It's been a very underwhelming Q1. I actually thought at the start of GTO's lap that he might have a chance to get himself into Q2. Just as I thought that, the car started going too far right. It went into the wall, too deep into the wall. It took his front tyre off, so that was unlucky. Stephen Jones might get his way through. Where is it working this out, Lee? Because there's some people like Pippo Kennedy that started between Chuckle and GTO. GTO sat at the very back. And then you've got Stephen Jones that hasn't set a time. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm unsure what's happened with Chuckle and Stephen. I think Stephen retired at the start. As for Royal Rumble and Dario, I think would they have retired? No, I think they've actually crashed out as well. It appears. I think Stephen Jones might get through it if he has just retired, as it seems. But we'll be able to find out in a few moments when we restart again. And Pippo Kennedy putting in 118.537, good enough for second place. Of course, it's not going to really matter in this session. It's just a little bit of bragging rights as it stands. Now, we would say pity we don't have a little bit of the F1 manager perks right now and just hit the fast forward button. But yeah, we'll have to sort of just deal with it for now. It doesn't appear that anyone is going to be coming out. There we go, just as I say that, Tiny. Even though he's all good, he's just wasting a set of softs at this rate.
It's alright, I found the thing I was looking for. It was right in front of me almost. Pretty much, that's not even a joke. So I stood sat here and I looked down and I was like, oh, there it is. Yeah, Tiny only set that lap on intermediate, so that'll make it another intermediate win for him. which will take him to Forley. We do have a 13-round season now and not a 10, obviously on round 8 of now 13. If we still had a 10-round season, we could have crowned Tiny the intermediate champion of the season. However, we've still got another 3 to go on top of the 10. So, can't do that just yet, but he's got 3 out of 6 because we didn't do the intermediate championship in China. So we've only had 6 of, well, including this one, 7 of 8 that we've actually done the intermediate championship. So we're going to have hopefully 12 intermediate championships throughout the season. Obviously, that may not happen actually with weather.
Talking about weather, I just realised what's happening come race time.
Is it a wet race?
Haha.
Oh, nice. Which way?
Sunny then wet. So we're going to see quite a split in strategies at the start of the Grand Prix. We'll be seeing some people possibly on the hards, some on the mediums, some on the softs, even depending on when the rain is going to come. It's going to be fun. Tiny on the lap, coming around turn 8 there.
Yeah, all the way up towards turn 9, and the DRS open throughout that straight, which is just a progressively curved left-hander. He says it's set a purple middle sector. Do you think that's true? It certainly is. He set a purple first and second sector.
Oh, definitely seems like track evolution is playing quite a key factor in this session. Of course, it's just going to be Tiny to the line, and that's going to be the end of qualifying pretty much. You'll just need to get it back into the pits after that. We'll see what time he's going to be able to put on. It's 1:17.482. Literally stamping his authority down right away. Over half a second quicker than Koyak's Gamer. We'll see if he's going to be able to keep that up going into the further qualifying sessions.
Yeah, that was a very good time for him, but I think, as you said, track evolution played a big part in that. We've got 10 seconds left on the clock. That's going to be the final lap in Q1. So now we're just waiting for Tiny to get back to the pits. I suppose he can retire at this point. It's not usually only retiring on track, but I think they sort of waive that rule when there's no one on track. There you go.
Yeah, it's a bit. I would do say it's a lot better when they do it like that, but we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't, because I'm unsure about certain things with that. With it being retiring on track or whatever. But regardless of that, Tiny getting the fastest lap in Q1 at 1:17.482. After that was Coy's Gamer in second. Third was Pipple Kennedy Danny in fourth. Chuck was fifth. Matt in sixth. Then you had Sticky Panda, Super Striker, Cavalise, in ninth, and then we had Lee in 10th, 11th was Prof, Penapod in 12th, and 13th was Stephen Jones, who actually retired at the start of qualifying. Royal Rumble, Dario, Chuckle, and GTR will not be moving on to the next stage of qualifying and will be starting in their respective places come the race of 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th. Now we're going to be moving on to Q2, where it's 15 minutes of 13 or I forget. It was either 13 or 14 drivers battling out. We need to see what if Stephen Jones is going to be in it. No, he isn't. Oh no, he is. He did make it through. So
yeah, there's 13.
No time, Stephen Jones.
I wonder if he is allowed to take part in qualifying or not. We'll find out in just a second because he may retire. If he isn't, he's been gifted a real gem now, hasn't he? Because he's got about 5 places up than he would have done, and obviously not his own fault. He's only done what's been told of him. If he is one of the drivers that a driver that has a qualifying ban, he technically didn't do anything wrong. The Ferrari of Tiny and Red Bull of Super Striker out on the track first. Super Striker looking impatient with how slow Tiny was going, out of the pits there.
It was Per Bowden.
Oh, sorry, Perm Bowden. I thought it was Tiny. I tried to click on Perm Bowden, but it was saying he was still... Oh, apologies. Perm Bowden, as we now have the Aston Martin of Pippo Kennedy out the garage as well. And Stephen Jones can take part in qualifying these, so I don't know why he retired. But he was able to get through anyway.
I'm unsure what was happening. I did see him joining and leaving a good few times, so whether it was connection issues or something, we could sort of just see how things go and see if it is connection issues, if it carries on and persists into the race. We'll be able to find that out and see. Super Striker and Sticky Panda, though, are both out on the medium compound tyre to try and get through into Q3. So we'll see how that's going to work for them. Super Striker just coming around turn 14 now to start his lap.
I was thinking not very well.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's going to be a bit of a close one for a couple of them. I mean, did see a few of them up into, like, what was it, 7th and 9th, I think it was, in Q1. So we'll be able to see how it is. Mind you, Q1 was a bit of a sort of snooze fest. They didn't need to really bother going out that often. So yeah, it's going to be one of them. This is where we're going to be able to see a bit more of the sort of mean streak of them and how fast these cars actually could go. Stephen Jones is actually out. Is he? He's actually just bottled it.
Yes, he has it between turns 3 and 4.
Oh, no, he's not. He's just retired on track.
Why has he done that?
I have no idea. I think that could be a little bit of a smart bottom later. We'll see how that's going to go. So he's going to be starting down in maybe 13th. Super Striker to the line to set the benchmark for Q2. 118.596 is going to be up next. It's not going to be Per Bowden.
Sticky Panda in the Aston Martin. He's the next one to the line. He does a 119.092. He doesn't set any fastest sectors on that lap. Tiny now just starting a lap. Who's the next driver up? It looks like it's a McLaren. It's not. It's Cabalus, who's doing an out lap at the moment.
Koyak's coming around the final corner there to the line. I think he may have what it takes. Yep, he does. 118.248.
Pippo Kennedy, the next one up, and he moves to the right-hand side, actually, to get closer to the line. It seems to work. He does do a fastest third sector. Tiny's on a flying lap at the moment as well, and he is actually flying. He's fastest in the first sector. He did a 26.7 in that first sector. Just to give you a bit of a... He does a purple middle sector as well. He is absolutely flying. It was a 26.7 in the middle, second, in the first. In the second, it was a 17.5. It was a
4 tenths up at the moment on Pippo Kennedy, going into sector 3, about 4 tenths, half a second. Almost. We'll see how if he's going to be able to manage it going into the final few corners. He just to the line now. Ooh, yep, there we go. 117.581, 2 tenths and up in every single sector there. Keep that in the first place.
118.9 for him. Our benchmark time we've got from GP1 this season was set by, of course, Josh McGill, who is run riot in GP1 this season, and really has already got one hand on the trophy. He did a 117.196 We're not too far off that with Tiny already. That was a short qualifying session though, so we do have more build-up in full qualifying, of course, more track evolution. So we are likely to get close or beyond that 17-1 set by Josh Miel.
I will say at this rate, like with Josh McGill, it kind of reminds me of that Lando Norris song that we hear him singing on about what was it? Let's go Lando, and something. Shouldn't he be Dutch? And that just makes me think
Never
of
heard
Josh
that.
McGill.
To be fair,
Have you not?
no, never.
He was doing it on his stream at the time. And I just thought it was funny.
So, looking at some of these qualifying stats, Lee, for one, Perm Bowden, he's gone into Q2 twice this season so far. It's 3 times this time around. He's been knocked out in Q1 4 of those times as well. Never got himself into Q3. He's 11th at the moment, and he's 7/10 off 10th place. So we'll see if he can improve. If he does, he needs to improve by quite a big margin. Sticky Panda now, the only one out on the Albert Park circuit, whilst he preps and gets himself ready to start his second attempt in qualifying. He's been knocked out 2 of the 3 times in Q2 that he's raced in RTG as a full-time driver, and he's gone into Q3 once. Let's see if he can make that a second attempt, and a second appearance, should I say, and obviously he's attempting it. He's inside that top 10 at the moment, but he's only just behind Prof, who has also had quite a mixed bag this season. He's qualified inside the top 10 once and 5 times outside. He's mostly qualified in Q2, so this is usually his home Q2. Let's see if he can step out of it and get himself up into Q3. I just realised, Lee, I'm really naughty, aren't I? I never sent you the stats today.
I was literally just thinking that as you were
There you go.
referencing them there. So I appreciate that. Please don't bing, bing, bing. Would really appreciate it, phone. Can't end the phone, it's just what I do it. But Sticky Panda now, coming along the back straight, he's the only driver who's on a lap at the moment. We've got another couple who have just started, Super Striker just starting his lap there, and we've got who's that Prof that's just coming around turn 13, and same with the Mercedes of Danny, who's still yet to set a time. But Sticky Panda right now would be the one to watch as he's just coming around that sort of reprofiled turn 11. I would say I'm not really a fan of it, but it does sort of help slow the cars down a little and improve the race sort of overtaking aspect. Oh, getting right out of shape there as he's trying to get back on the throttle down to the line. And honestly, I think if he didn't get that little bit of shake there, that was going to be possibly a 17.4 or maybe a 17.3 even.
It was still a fastest third sector as well. It's only sector 1 that Tiny has pipped him, and that was by 3/10 that Tiny pipped Sticky. So Panda must have made a mistake in this part of the circuit here. Danny's on a lap now, a little bit further ahead. I say he's on a lap. As soon as we ride on board with him, we can see that he's actually invalidated that lap with just over 5 minutes to go. The sun is actually quite... Is it just me, or does the sun seem like it's quite low in the sky?
Yeah, I was thinking that myself, to be honest. It does seem a bit low than usual, but regardless of that, things will still be as is.
And we say about the track ramping up, I've actually taken note. So when we started Q2, the track temperature was at 31 degrees. It's now up to 35 degrees track temperature, 29 degrees air temperature. So obviously the track is certainly ramping up. It's getting warmer, and it should be getting to the point now where it's really going to start to ramp up, especially in this last part of Q2 when we get all the other drivers out on the circuit, bar Stephen Jones and Tiny, as they both retired. Tiny obviously feeling like he's safe enough to just spectate the rest of Q2 and wait for his chance in Q3, if he gets there, of course. But obviously, only 4 tenths off the GP1 pole. He's, yeah, it's never certain, is it, Lee? But it's as certain as you're going to get.
Yeah, I would say. Oh, who's that? Oh, Perrin Bowden just going to the line to start a lap. I just had a complete brain fart there as I got distracted. Let's see, we've got Danny who's actually on a lap right now. He went around again. I don't think he went and took it to the pits. So, oh, he was going pretty slow there around turn 11 there. That was a bit unusual. Yeah, he's going to duck into the pits. He'll have enough time to be able to get in and get back out again.
Coit's game are opting to come out later on than others. Earlier on than others, and get himself a bit of clean air. The only other driver on the track at the moment is Perrin Bowden. Who is he on a lap? No, he isn't. Or is he? Are we giving him a disservice there? Is he on a lap?
Who on a lap?
Perrin Bowden. I think he is.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. He's on the lap. He's just coming to the line now. It's not going to be a particularly fast time. Is it quicker? He is quicker, but not quick enough. He's still in the 119s, and at this rate, I don't think he's going to be able to make it through into Q3, as it could be a bit of the game's over for him. Danny should be able to come out the pits soon, in the next few moments.
So, we've now had Super Striker retire as well. What was that noise then?
Oh, it was my headphone wires scraping against a page.
It sounded a lot more dodgy than that, I'll be honest. But I'll take your words for it. Coit's game are now starting that first, or ending that first sector, and now starting his second sector. It said it was purple in the first. It wasn't. It was a personal best, though. The only thing I don't like about this app, Lee.
What's that?
Sorry, I had to mute there quickly because I sneezed.
I thought that.
The one thing I don't like about this app is when they retire, their time goes away. So I don't know how quick they are compared to those top three.
That's a bit unfortunate. Coit's game, I thought. Let's see if he's going to be.
He's done 2 personal best sectors. It's an 18-2 at the moment. Really needs to get himself into the 117s. It's looking like that's going to be. It certainly is a 17-7 for him. And he is more than likely safe as well. But as we said, the track is ramping up another degree in temperature now as well. Up to 36 degrees as Lee is up in the first sector by about 1/3 of a tenth. So still got some improvements to do.
We've got Pippo Kennedy just coming up to turn 11 there. Chuck just coming up to turn 6 now, sorry. Matt's actually in turn 12 now, but we'll go to Pippo Kennedy for now, as he's just a way to come across the line in just a few seconds. And I have no idea, he actually goes quickest with 117.506. And I will say, I have no idea why they're going straight across the track, as it's not the shortest route.
No, I wouldn't think it is either, personally, but there you go. What do I know? So, Danny's still not set a time. This is going to be the time he's set, and by the looks, it's not great. 17-18. He's going to be maybe in by the skin of his teeth. I think he is in by the skin of his teeth. It's only Prof now who's in danger, and Cavalis is
it's all
going
gonna come
faster.
down. Yeah, but he's not going fast enough. He's only 100th up on his time, so not a lot at the moment. It's looking like it's going to be a 118.8 if things are going to keep going the way they are. And it looks like Pull would be safe, but I don't want to say that just yet, even though I just did. Yep, 118.8, there we go. Just as suspected, he doesn't manage to get through into Q3. So that's Cavallis, Per Bowden and Stephen Jones who will be out in Q2. We're just waiting for Pippo Kennedy in that Aston Martin to get back into the pits and get wheeled back into the garage.
So it's looking quite close between the top 5. Only 3/10 separate them. .334 to be precise between the top 5. The top 10 was just around a second in time.
Yep. Looking at it now, Pippo Kennedy actually managing to get quite a belter of a lap there in 117.506 to go top of the standings in Q2. Tiny was just a smidgen behind with 117.581. Coitus Gamer was third, fourth was Sticky Panda Super Striker in fifth, sixth was Matt, then it goes Lee, then Chuck, Danny and Prof in 10th, and we had Cavalice in 11th. Per Bowden in 12th and 13th will be Stephen Jones, who hasn't set a time again in Q2. And now that will be us moving on to the next stage of qualifying, the third and final stage of qualifying, where the top 10 will battle out for 12 minutes to claim that first place, that pole position, and that extra point for the race that will be ensuing after.
So 12 minutes to decide that extra point, and who is going to be taking that extra point. Obviously, we've only had 3 pole sitters this season so far, that being Pippo Kennedy, who has 2, Coitus Gamer, who has 3, and our championship leader Chuck, who has 2 as well.
Yep, I think I've seen, who was that? Was that Super Striker that got out just ahead? Nope, it's actually, I think that may be an Aston Martin of Sticky Panda. Yep, Sticky Panda is actually going to be the first one out on track.
And Pippo Kennedy's out as well, so both Aston Martins are out on track. We've got 2 Red Bulls and 2 Aston Martins who are inside the top 10. Everyone else representing their teams on their own. As Mass F1 now gets down the end of the pit lane and comes out on track to try and attempt a fast lap. So still waiting on a few drivers.
Yep, so we've now got the 7 out of the 10 drivers out on track, which is waiting for Danny, Coitus and Chuck. Well, there we go, just as I said, that Chuck is out of the pits, and same with, I think it was Coitus Gamer, yep, Coitus Gamer also out of the pits. So we're just waiting on the Mercedes of Danny to get the last car out on the track. I think he may be waiting for a little bit of an opportunity to try and get some clear air. Sticky Panda about to start his lap, and then we've got just behind him his Super Striker. He's only about 2.5 seconds to 3 seconds behind. Well, that gap just increased a little there, judging by the way Super Striker went through that turn 1-2 sector. He went a bit deep going into turn 1 there. Sticky Panda there managing to do quite nicely at turn 3. And we compare between them.
So he has gone faster between him and Super Striker, who's the next car up to cross that timing beacon. It is going to be Pippa Kennedy. We'll keep an eye on that as well. But for the time being, Sticky Panda is the fastest driver out on track. He still is, as Pippa Kennedy only sets a personal best first sector. And Super Striker actually sets the fastest second. And surprise, surprise, Tiny taking the fastest first sector of this Q3 session. Just remember, all times get white, and we start from ground zero and work our way up to pole through the final 2 corners of 13 and 14 for Sticky Panda. He's going to go on to provisional pole and set the benchmark for everyone else. It's a 1:17.9, not a bad benchmark, as Super Striker does a 1:18.1. Who is up next as Chuck just starts a lap? I believe it's going to be Pippa Kennedy. Oh, Pippa Kennedy went into the pits. And who's it going to be?
Tiny. Lee, 117.976, and then we had Matt, 118.160. Who is up next? It's going to be
Koix.
Yep, then Prof right behind that, then Chuck a few seconds after that. So Koix in that Alpha Tauri is now what came around turns 9 and 10 and now down into turn 11. Be careful not to take too much of that apex, as it does like to unsettle the car and will have a tendency to end up pulling you out to the outside of the track. Now into 13 and 14. Getting over to the left hand side for turning into the final corner. Trying to cut as much as you can, and there we go. He puts in a 117.794, putting it provisionally on pole position. Prof crossed the line there, 118.882, and we've got the Williams man of Chuck coming to the line. Times you're going to be able to do a 117.791. Did he invalidate at the last corner? I did not notice that, if he did or not. Koix, he's done his lap. We've got Danny, who's going to be next up. He's just about to start his lap, coming into turn 13 now.
Yeah, they're a little bit out of sync to others. Pippa Kennedy. Oh, that's not the best way to start your lap, is it?
Yeah, and to be honest, he didn't get the car right over to the left-hand side for starting turn 14 in order to get the best sort of line to go around the corner and carry as much speed as possible. Chuck will be diving into the pits in order to get some fuel back in the car. Prof and Danny now. Just coming around.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I was speaking indeed. Danny on a fast lap at the moment. He's set a pretty good sector 2 time, a 17.8. It's around the average at the moment, so it's a pretty good time. I think this could be good enough for 5th, 6th, something like that, as he now makes his way around the final corner and up towards the start-finish line, and he ends up in 17th. He must have fallen short in the final sector. Tiny sending a purple. He said personal and purple all at the same time there. Purple first sector. It's going to be a purple middle. It certainly is a 17.4. I think that's the fastest middle sector we've seen today as well. As he exits turns 9 and 10, the car looking poised and beautifully balanced in the mid-corner as we go into turn 11 again, just looking so comfortable, set up perfectly for him into 12. Now the penultimate of 13. It just feels so slow compared to the rest of the circuit. Does turn 13 around the final corner. Is he going to be another one that goes to the pit wall? No, he's not. Doesn't need to. A 17.191. Is that faster than GP1, Lee?
5 thousandths of a second.
A 1
5 thousandths of a second. That is insane.
A 1:17.469 for Pippo Kennedy. Just remember, Tiny, believe it or believe it not, has not had a pole position this season. He's performed very well in qualifying so far this season, but it's not rewarded him with a pole as of yet. Super Striker coming through the third sector here. He's going to complete the lap around turn 14. He's done a personal best in the first two. Where's it going to put him? On the front row is 17.4. It was all just personal best, though. No purples from Super Striker.
Oh, so he manages to get it quite high up from that anyway. Prof just about to start his lap. Chuck is still sitting in the pits. He's still yet to set a time. He'll be coming out in the next couple of moments, I would suspect. I think we'll see some activity down in the pit lane. Who's that? I think that may be Sticky Panda, is it?
Yeah, Sticky Panda's just come out. Prop obviously started his final lap with the time left on the clock. This should be his last lap. Unless he invalidates in the first half of the lap, he has a chance to cool down and go again, but the fuel may suggest that he can't. Through turn 6 and 7, which is much faster than it used to be. Now around turn 8 and on to the back straight before we get to turn 9. Where turn 9 is a whole different corner compared to what it used to be when you had the chicane, which used to be 9 and 10, and this used to be 11 and 12. Through 9 and 10 now, keeping it within the yellow lines here at Albert Park, not to mix up with the lines of the Australian highway. So they go with yellow lines for the track limits. Makes it a little bit easier for us as well. I can see why, though, drivers would still think it was the white line, potentially, if they thought they were still within track limits. Towards the line now, he kept comfortably within track limits at the last corner. And he does go faster, but not fast enough to move up any more positions. I think Prof will be starting 8th at very best now, as the majority of the top 10 now out on the circuit, preparing for their final lap with just over a minute to go in the session.
Yep, Chuck just coming into turn 12 now. I think he's got a Red Bull of Lee just ahead, who's just coming around the final corner to start his lap. So it's going to be Lee who's the first one that's going to be finishing his lap.
It'll be Lee, Chuck, then Matt, F1, and then after that it's going to be Sticky Panda.
Yep. And then, judging by that, maybe Koyak's Gamer.
It certainly is. And then Pippo Kennedy. Then Tiny, then Pippo. Yeah.
Yep.
So Lee is the first driver to set a final attempt here, and he's done a purple first sector actually, and is absolutely flying. A 26.7 for him in that first sector as he makes his way down towards turn 9 in the end of the second sector, which is quite short. It's a purple middle sector, not as quick, nowhere near as quick as Tiny 17.4. It's a 17.7 for Lee in that middle sector. Coming down towards turn 11, which is a difficult corner to get right. It can be very clunky if you turn in at the wrong moment. Through turn 12, a very quick right-hander, and then down into turn 13 and then turn 14.
Yeah, we've just seen, we had the truck there, put it in the fourth with a 117.5, Sticky Panda 117.63 in the sixth. We've got Matt in the eighth with a 117.851. Who's going to be up next? I think it was Koyex who's going to be the last one up. He's just coming around turn 13 now into 14. We'll see what time he's going to be able to put on the board. He's got a 117.794 to the line. What's he going to do? He goes second on the front row with a 117.252. Who's going to be up next? It's going to be Tiny in that Ferrari. Let's see. Is he going to go quicker? He does. A 117.114. And I missed that. I think he went P2. Did he go? He went P3. Koyex. He went P3.
Yeah, so Tiny gets his first pole position of the season. It's well earned as well for him.
Yeah. Holy sh! Pippo got second by 1,000th of a second. Wow. The closest it could have been. Oh. So, Tiny gets that pole position. He'll get that extra point. Pippo Kennedy will be lining up beside him on that front row, just beating out Koyex by 1,000th of a second, who's going to be starting in third, Super Striker fourth, fifth for Chuck, Lee was sixth, seventh for Sticky Panda, Matt was eighth, ninth was Prof, and Danny will be starting in 10th. Now, moving on to the race now, where we're going to have 29 laps of racing around this 3.28 mile track. So let's see. We'll have a wee quick look. We're going to be seeing it's a split between softs and mediums.
Oh yeah, of course. I keep forgetting about no safety cars, formation laps. Because sometimes I do formation laps with leagues, and this one we don't, of course, for Mondays and Thursdays. So, got some more stats today. Safety cars, there's a 50% chance of them happening here. Take that with a pinch of salt, though. Obviously, with it being league races, we kind of take that from real-world events, but of course it can correlate over. And it's a 19-second pit stop here, including the actual pit stop itself. So that's the whole way down the pit lane from one end to the other, including the pit stop.
Yeah, but most certainly is. It's not too bad, the pit stop. I mean, you've got it's going to be 15-second time loss if there is a safety car, so it's not too bad. It'll be a 4-second gap roughly, depending on how things will go. So not too bad in the grand scheme of things. And well, we're seeing a couple more hards. We've got Matt and Pippo Kennedy actually on the hard tyres. Tiny starting on the mediums. And we're seeing a little bit of a split.
It certainly is a split. As you said, 2 on the hard tyres, and then it's pretty much a 50-50 split between softs and mediums, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's appearing that way anyway. I'll recheck.
Is that a bit of a risk for Pippo, though, going on the hards at the start? Especially being on the front row?
Possibly. I mean, I think it was Monday. I actually seen someone actually do it, and I think it actually worked. I'm unsure. I can't remember. It
wasn't that long ago, Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, your memory's poor, isn't it? So, we should be
going...
going...
do a lot, so... Yeah.
So, as Lee said, the conditions here are going to be mixed. We're going to be starting, as you can see, with dry conditions, and then it will be going to wet conditions. And we're about to get underway with that as well. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 red lights. And we're away here for the round 8 for GP2. Tiny getting a bit of a troublesome start here, and Pippo Kennedy almost getting alongside him as we go down into turn 1. Tiny still in the lead. It looks like we've got Sticky Panda off the road there at turn 2. He's come back on without hitting any other drivers, and now Lee gets past him as they go down towards turn 3. And they're fighting away through those 2 corners. And still going side by side through turn 5 as well, Lee.
Yep, I was on board with that there. I was looking at Chuckle, who's actually sitting in 10th place now from starting in 16th place. And he's got his, air quotes there, teammate actually just moving out the way for him there. Of Cavolis, sorry. Now Chuckle up 7 places, highest gainer in the opening lap. The top 5 have not changed from Tiny, Pippo Kennedy, Koyaks, Super Striker and Chuck. They're all in the same position. We've seen a few people jump up and down. Got Danny, who's actually down 6 places, so he's not had the best opening lap there. Tiny actually managing to get that gap over 1 second now, so he's already managed to pull out a little bit of a DRS gap there. We'll see how that's going to be able to keep going forward. We've got Per Bowden, see actually into the pits or into a wall.
He's into the wall at the pits, and that's a safety car deployed as well.
I feel bad for laughing because
you shouldn't laugh.
I've done it. No. The thing that I'm laughing at is because I've done it myself. Like Spain, for instance, is the one that got me. That was the. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain when that happens. So, commiserations to Per Bowden there. It's one of them easy mistakes to make. And if he's got a broken front wing, then it is totally understandable. As a really narrow pit entry for some reason. It used to be actually a lot wider, if I remember right. Used to actually be able to race into the pit.
And that's Per Bowden's first DNF of the season as well. He's actually got no stats on the board in our race stats for what we have. He's not qualified inside the top... not finished inside the top 10 at all this season, nor is he DNF'd either. So that'll be the first stat he's had on the board in our race stats. But as Lee said, commiserations and apology, Pam, for him laughing as well. I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing at him being an idiot.
Or a certain sort of male appendage, we'll say. But yeah, to say the least, and I was only chuckling because, well, I've done it myself, you know, it's one of them easy mistakes to end up making. Yep, no worries, it's just one of them easy mistakes to make. And I think I remember one time actually going for an overtake on my fellow commentator here at Silverstone as we were going into the pits, and ended up bumping into him as we're going in. And yeah, that kind of buggered it up for both of us, really. That was funny, looking back now. Not so funny in the moment, of course. But regardless of that now, safety car out, and we're going to be, I think we may be going again on end of lap 4. I think we'll be getting back underway.
Sorry, Joe did not long got home. She just came in the room a sec. So, apologies. So we've had 2 drivers pit? 3 drivers pit.
Yep, Danny, Royal Rumble and Dario have all came into the pits. And they all went onto the hard compound tyre.
Sorry, just realised you hear me vaping then. Will the hards go to the end, Lee? Or is that a bit of a stretch?
No, because we've got wet weather.
Oh, yeah, sorry, true. Forgot about that. Okay, if it was going to be dry throughout, would they... Actually, saying that, Lee, why have they gone on to the hards?
Maybe it could be later on in the race that it could be coming. Maybe they were clever enough to go onto the weather forecast and actually have a wee peek and find out that it could be coming in, say, 15 minutes time, which is, I would say, long enough for the hard tyres to last at the very least. Mediums, maybe, with the help of a safety car, I suppose.
So I don't think Stephen Jones is in the session, Lee, because his car's ghosted.
No, it doesn't appear that he is. Oh, yep, there we go, in this lap 4. We're going to get the safety car back in.
What are you putting your sad face for?
What?
Sorry, Lee, one...
So somebody forgot to mute there. We're going to have Tiny, who's going to be getting us underway again. And that scarlet red Ferrari, we could see just at the bottom right hand side of the screen that the safety car just coming around turn 13 and now making its way around 14 into the pit line. You see the pack getting backed right up there. And when is he going to go? It seems he's going to go out of the final corner. Yep, didn't really surprise much there, but will he still have the pace as he did in the first opening lap?
It seems to have surprised Pippo, though, hasn't it? Because Koitsgame is right on his tail as they go through turn 2 and on the way down towards turn 3. We're going to have to wait to see DRS for the next until the next couple of laps. And what did you catch early?
Yep, I just caught Prof actually getting a little bit out of shape as he was coming around the sort of apex of turn 2 on the exit of turn 1, and it was sort of sent him out of shape, and Chuckle managed to make up that advantage. Oh, and he's getting a little bit squirrely there coming around turn 6 there, getting a bit too much on that apex, and it sort of sent him a little bit out of shape. But yeah, Chuckle managing to get up there, and who's dropped all the way back? Because
not sure. Dario in Stephen's ghosted car is fighting with Danny. There's Danny now tries to get past GT Ord. He's the first trying with a time penalty as well. Oh, that's a close call between him and GT Ord. He didn't really leave him enough space on the outside. Is he going to leave him enough space on the inside? Oh. No, look at that, cut straight in front of him. But I think GT Ord had the right to do that because he wasn't actually alongside yet.
Yep, but I will say that was playing with fire. GT Ord round hitting that apex curb a bit too much, and I looked like he was actually almost going to be hitting the pit wall. Tiny actually managing to make that gap back up again, and so now it's sitting at 1.5 seconds, second and a half up the road now, so he's out of that DRS window, which isn't going to be activated until next lap. We won't see it activated until about now, after turn 8. But right now we've got Lee and Sticky Panda. They were going side by side there as they were going down turn 8. And it looked like Sticky Panda actually used a bit more of his
safety car deployed. And GT Ord is out. As we said before the race started, there was a 50% chance of safety cars.
It looks like it's been bumped up to 100. So we're not even going to get DRS until lap 10 even.
Probably
11?
later than that. 11, 12, something like that. He's only going to pit this time around. The other thing that's crucially, we may not even see it at all because the rain is coming.
Yeah, we're seeing Chuck and Super Striker jumping into the pits. We've got Sticky Panda bailing in. Lee stays out, Chuckle in. Prof stays out, Cavalry stays out, Matt into the pits. We've got Danny actually into the pits again. Dario stays out, and so does... Oh, what the Dario stopped on the track there, and the Royal Rumble went into the back of him. That was...
Who's at fault there, Lee?
That was Dario all day, I would say. Give me 2 seconds. Wait, review it now, so...
How can you go back?
Because I could just clip.
Ah.
Yep, Dario ends up literally braking on the track. They're going at a decent pace. And yeah, Royal Rumble just ends up going into the back of him and picks up a 5-second penalty and a broken wing to boot. So that's going to be... That is actually quite shocking there, I would say, from Dario. If he was a bit over on his time, on his delta, then he could have possibly ended up moving off of the racing line. And I think that would have been the fairer thing to do. Oh, just seen John in the chat there. Alrighty there, John. How's things today? We've got our second safety car of the night up to now, due to Penn Bowden and GTR unfortunately not having the best starts to this Grand Prix, and Dario actually getting punted up the rear from Royal Rumble, who is actually quite peeved off at that, and he's actually retired
Himself as well, which is a shame because we're under safety car. You could have just... Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, it's a bit understandable, you know, tempers a bit high and that. So yeah, unfortunately now we're down to 13 out of 17. So let's hope we'll have no more retirees. But judging by the way the weather is going to look, and we could see a couple of them dark clouds starting to hang over the track, they're starting to flow in, so I'm suspecting maybe even by lap 16 maybe, I think 17 at a push they could have the rain start. It's just me taking a wild guess, I could be completely wrong. But if you go to Danny and look back, you can actually see the clouds starting to roll in.
Yeah, you can. So we have safety car in this lap again. Yeah, we'll see DRS enabled on lap 11 then.
Yep, it's a while away, I will say. Instead of it being lap 3 as we usually have it, or lap 2 in real life, anyway, it's going to be lap 11, so quite a way off. Tiny going to be leading us away again. Still on them old medium tyres. We've got Super Striker who's on them fresh hard tyres, Chuck on the fresh mediums, and then it's hards, mediums, between 8th and 13th at the moment. Tiny. When is he going to get going? Is he going to get going at
He's
the
already
same
gone.
time again?
He's already gone. I think he'd already gone at 10:13 actually, because it's such a slow corner. Well, between the two, you couldn't really notice it, but he certainly had gone earlier than he did the time before. As we go down into turns 1 and 2, Stephen Jones, the other car that's not here anymore, for whatever reason, he didn't even decide to turn up for really anything at all today. Chuck is going to get past him as well. That's pretty certain at some point in the next few corners. And the top 5 already broken away from Cavalos. Or Cavalis, I never know which way to pronounce it, as Chuck now gets past Stephen Jones, and Sticky Panda doing the same thing at turn 6 and 7 as well. And now around turn 8, the AR car Stephen Jones is going to lose a few more places, is Chuck and Super Striker getting past Cavalis now between turns 8 and 9 as they go down towards turn 9 Super Striker in 6th, Chuck in 7th, Cavalis in 8th place. And Sticky Panda now trying to go around the outside. As he does that, he brakes very late, but not too late, and gets the move done nicely as his teammate Pippa Kennedy gets overtaken by Coits Gamer in that fight at the front. Very, very close as we go on to lap 10. And like you said, Lee, it's getting cloudy.
Yep, it certainly is. Oh, got Lee going for a move on Pippo Kennedy. It looked like he was going to try and take the outside line going into turn 3 and possibly have a wee peak there, but Pippo Kennedy managing to get a bit better speed there. I think he used a little bit of his battery. I've been reading a wee bit of the chat there. John said last night, Matthew said the internet dropped out and that's why he's left the season. That's a bit unfortunate. Also, Chuckle managing to get past Sticky Panda there for that 8th position. Nicely done there. And we had Perm Bowden. So what happened when he retired is he was trying to give space to the Alpine beside him into the last corner. Took a very tight line and clipped the grass and spun into the wall. Oh, it's
a difficult one. Here goes Chuck to the inside of Super Striker. He's got the medium tyres, the softer of the two.
Oh!
As you see, the Alfa Romeo of Prof gets spun around of his own accord as Chuckle in the McLaren switching from the Mercedes this evening, getting past Super Striker as well, as Sticky Panda runs wide and goes off onto the grass at turn 13. And for the first time this evening, we see DRS enabled in the race, but we won't see it until after turn 8.
Yeah, but it's definitely a way away. Danny actually retired there as well. That's unfortunate. We've got another one. So we're down to 12. Matt managing to get past Cavalis, and technically we're down to 11 considering Steve Jones isn't here. And that's a bit unfortunate, but now let's have a wee look further up. We've got Tiny, who's actually managing to keep out of that DRS window. Pippa Kennedy managing to get on Koyaks there. Now managing to get past Stephen Jones again. It looks like the only ones who are actually doing quite nice on their batteries is Chuckle and Super Striker. A lot of Cavalis is actually doing really well as well. Pippa Kennedy's not bad on ERS, but a majority of the field is actually kind of running not low, but low-ish, I would say. So yeah. Chuckle could be he's having a look on his brother Chuck in that Williams. Is he going to be one of the ones contributing to the fall of Chuck? He's going to go to the inside, going into turn 3, and he's going to get that done nicely and easy. Up into 5th for Chuckle.
So, Tiny, as it stands, is looking very comfortable out in the lead. And when we look at the standings, Tiny is down in 6th place. He hasn't attended the last 2 races, which means he sort of dropped off the front pack in terms of the championship. That might be really costly at the end of the season. Of course, it is a big factor in terms of the racing attendance. It's another reason that another factor, another big thing that comes into the championship is your attendance level. Not something we see in real life, of course, unless the drivers are ill or injured or anything like that. Then otherwise they will race. But obviously,
Kimi Räikkönen faking being ill.
He didn't do that for an actual race, did he?
No, but for press interviews and that. Oh, look at this! I could see Lee looking for a move there on Kennedy. It didn't come to fruition there. But yeah, the amount of times I've heard that from like drivers just faking being ill just to get out of like a press conference or something. It was just hilarious, to be honest. I've no peak now. This battle for second though is kind of hotting up. We've got, how many is that? All the way down to 8th place, all within DRS window, and this is going to be perfect for Tiny with the baton that would be going on behind you. Oh, who's that? It's Pippo Kennedy, and Lee's actually managing to get past. Nicely done there from the Red Bull driver up into
Very
third
nice overtake.
place.
Yeah, very nice overtake from Lee there. And he's up in, as Lee said, Lee's up into third. He's not got himself on the podium so far this season, and he's trying to make it the first time this season in Australia. Chuck getting very close to the back of his brother, coming out of the final corner. He's got DRS, but so is Chuckle to defend as well. So it's almost even Stevens as they go through turn 1 and 2 now. Is it going to be even Stevens down the back straight as well, or is Chuckle going to go for a move on Pippo Kennedy? It really looks like he is. He brakes a bit later, he gets alongside on the exit, isn't able to stay alongside in turn 4, has to settle for staying in 5th place around turn 5.
Yeah, unfortunately that move didn't work there, but this is allowing Chuck to catch up a little, and he's actually managed to close that gap quite a little to actually get quite close, and it looks like he's actually going to have to lift off in order to not make any contact there.
Switchback there from Chuckle as well at turn 10. You don't see that too often, and it's worked well for him as he gets past. His Sticky Panda now trying to overtake Super Striker, almost collects Chuck's Williams in the process as well. If they did make contact, it was a minor.
We'll have a look now. Chuck looking like he's going to make a move on Sticky.
Sorry, did I say something funny?
A little, yeah. Lee actually managing to get up into second place now, and Chuck actually moving up past Pippo Kennedy. Pippo Kennedy not doing the best on them old medium tyres, and well, it's looking like the...
Oh, here goes Sticky Panda on his teammates as well. He goes past, and so does Super Striker. Pippo Kennedy has been pretty much left with his pants down there after being overtaken by 2 cars in one corner. And as you said, the rain, I think, is on its way as we get just over the half point in the race. The clouds have settled over the circuit now. We're waiting for the heavens to open now.
Yeah, but it's not going to be long, I would say. I think it's going to be a lap or two. It's going to be coming. We've got Lee, who just been overtaken by Koyx Gamer, who's now managed to move back up into second place. And we could see there that Lee didn't have the DRS there. Even though he was in the second DRS zone, we know that the DRS detection point for all the way down to turn 11 is at turn 7, which I do think is a bit much. It's a bit overkill, I will say, having just the 1 DRS activation point for 2 DRS points for 1 activation point.
Oh, get your words out, Lee. Get your words out. Lee.
Activation, deactivation, and whatever.
It all becomes a bit jumbled up in the end, sometimes, doesn't it? The lead pack now going through turns 4 and 5 at the end of the first sector, past the football stadium and Olympic Stadium on the right-hand side. And Tiny still comfortably out in front, but I feel like Koyx Gamer and Lee have got some good pace, even though they've been on that tyre ever since the very start, and they're just waiting as he goes onto the grass there slightly and up the inside at turn 9. He gets past Koyx Gamer, and Lee is back up into second place as he was on the previous lap. And now Chuckle thinking about it on the inside of Koyx Gamer. We've seen some hefty battles between those two in the past, haven't we, between Chuckle and Koyx?
Oh yeah, most certainly. They do like to battle it out quite a bunch there. seen Chuck having to defend just a slight bit from Sticky Panda there. It looked like Sticky Panda was going to possibly throw up the inside of turn 13 there, but decided better against it because Chuck was actually in the way. Chuck could be possibly, if he gets a good launch here out of this corner, he'll have the better tyre. Oh, and Koyaks just went that little bit off the line, and you could see that light flashing away. Is he going to be able to do it? No, he doesn't. I thought Chuck was going to possibly go for it. Oh, that's a Red Bull off. Red Bull off.
Oh, that's Lee.
Actually
Yeah.
off the track.
Yeah, I felt like there was a... Was it a Haas as well? No, it wasn't. Just looked like it was a Haas from my view, but I thought there was another car off the track as well.
No, I think it might have been contact between him and Koyaks as they went around. Chuckle, through all that, has actually managed to get up into P2. Tiny is actually further away now, 2.7 seconds the gap between first and second right now. Is Koyak's going to be able to pull that back? No, he isn't. Chuck, though,
Yeah, he's going for it.
Go down the inside, is he? No, he isn't. He decides better against the Sticky Panda, having to be peak at the outside against Chuck. But he wouldn't have managed to make anything work because Koyaks was on the outside also. Coming into turn 13 now. This little chain here, just continuing on. How is Chuckle going fair defending? It's not going to matter because Koyaks is the one who's going to have to defend, being attacked by that Williams that's behind him, and he's actually went off the track, and this is going to allow Chuck the move around the outside of turn 2, and now he's going to have the inside line going into turn 3. Who's going to be later on the brakes? Looks like there was a little bit of contact there between the two of them, and now the Williams of Chuck is up into P3. Koyaks is down into P4 there. After that little bit of an impact with him and Lee, he's kind of went down a little bit each time.
Yeah, great racing, hard racing between the drivers at the front, but it's only benefiting Tiny at the very front. He's extending his advantage now, and he's just sailing away with it right now as Sticky Panda gets past Koik's Gamer as well, and just so many drivers in the top half of the field are just so competitive at the moment. It goes all the way down to 8th place, and it would have been 9th if Lee hadn't made that mistake a couple of laps ago.
Super Striker on the inside of Koik's Gamer. They're going into turn 11 there. Nicely done there. Gets that lighter on the brakes and uses a bit more of a DRS and gets that move done. Apologies about interrupting there, but
no, it's fine.
There's battles ensuing all over the place here between these top 6 drivers, and looking further down, Matt and Pipple Kennedy side by side, using that DRS, and he's using that battery, but he's still got it on as he's coming around turns 1 and 2. That's getting a little bit dangerous there as he's going around corners using that battery. Koyak's Gamer getting a 3-second time penalty. Them tyres are done. Is the rain even going to come?
It's trying to make its mind up, isn't it?
Yeah, this starting to kind of remind me of Scottish weather. It can never make up its mind.
Yeah, it's stayed the same. I mean, it's still quite dark over the circuit. Chuck getting close to his brother here as he tries to go the long way round at turn 9, or before turn 9 actually, should I say.
Oh, Lee getting past Pipple Kennedy there, going into turn 9 as well. Now Lee's going to have that DRS to pull away a little bit more. Oh, and there's a little bit of contact there between Sticky Panda and Chuckle. Sticky Panda looked like he was going for a move up the outside of Chuckle, and there was a little bit of contact there as that was happening. Looked like there was a bit Sticky Panda just getting a little bit sticky on the side of that McLaren. And look further down, Lee is 3/10 out of that gap to the train ahead. Well, 4/10 now. It's just going to get more and more depending on if he's going to be able to catch up in these non-DRS zones. He's not going to have the speed going into them. He's just going to hope for a little bit of a slip up from possibly Matt or Koyaks even. Just having a wee slip in order to get him back into the DRS window. We're on lap 20 now. Oh, we've got about 9 laps to go after this.
10, yeah, 10 including this one. The reason why Pippo Kennedy as well is falling back is he made a mistake a couple of laps ago. It turned 1 and 2 and got overtaken by Lee, so that's why he is where he is at this point. And through turn 9 and up towards through turns 9 and 10 and down towards turn 11.
Right, I just realised penalties. Lee is actually on 15 seconds worth of penalties.
Wow. Oh yeah, I can see that on my screen as well. Koik's Gamer having 3 seconds and Danny having 6, but of course he is retired anyway. As Lee makes I can't remember his name now. Wade Wilson. Yeah. Owen Wilson, not Wade Wilson. Owen Wilson. Yeah, and Loki as well, isn't Anyway, back to this. Koik's Gamer having to defend from Matt F1. He does have a time penalty though. However, so we've not had someone yet this season, Lee, take 3 wins. If the result stays the way it is, Tiny will be the first driver this season to have a trio of wins.
Ooh.
But after not attending the last couple of weeks, one, it's something that he needs to do, is to keep winning from this point out. As I just saw the first drops of rain.
Yep, just seen it flash right across the front of Chuckle's car there. So this is going to be one of them. What's best? Is it going to be best to stay out or what? Sticky Panda and Chuckle battling it out again.
And this is an important moment for people fighting, is Tiny gets a 3-second time penalty.
Oh, fudge nuggets.
Is anyone pitting on lap 21? I don't think so. I think everyone's going to think it's a little bit early.
Oh,
but also
Peppo in. I think one of the ones to watch is Stephen Jones, since that is AI controlled, and we'll be able to see how things will be able to go when he is going to pit, or it, since it's AI driven
controlled. Yeah.
Yep.
Pippo Kennedy out on the intermediates. This is either a very good call from him or not. If any remembers from Burnt Rubber Racing yesterday, we have mixed conditions there as well, Lee. And a load of drivers on the exact same lap, I mean, nigh on the whole grid, went into the pits onto Inters. Matthew stayed out for one more lap. Oh, sorry, we went from the other way round, Inters to Dries. He did it the other way round, and he actually got the overcut by staying one lap later on the Inters. So I wonder if anyone can do the same thing the other way around. Because at the moment, it doesn't look like drivers are actually struggling just yet. It actually looks like the drivers on the intermediates are struggling at the moment. As Matt F1 gets past Koik's Gamer.
Tiny actually lost a lot of time there as he was coming into turn 11. He actually took a bit too much out the apex there. And I think he's starting to struggle in them 21 lap old mediums. Now seen Koik's Gamer and Matt swapping places. Matt actually going off the track. Super Striker and Koik's both into the pits. Who's going to follow suit? We've got Lee on.
I do think it's time now, because the weather is starting to get worse, and noticeably the track actually looks wetter than it was before. It's a slightly slow pit stop for Lee, as he had his teammate Super Striker ahead of him on the road. But it wasn't too bad, to be fair, for a double stack in game. Is Pippo Kennedy, though, going to get the overcut? He does on Lee, and I think now that might have been the perfect time to pit for intermediates, Lee.
Well, we're going to be able to find out and see. Tiny still out at the moment. Stephen Jones is actually still staying out, so the AI is still deciding that it's still good. The Koyak's actually getting a 3-second time penalty there. Is that another one? Yep, it is.
It is, yeah.
When are these top 5 going to come into the pits?
Oh, Chuckle! Almost losing the car there, actually beaching it, and I think having a bit of aquaplaning on the curb on the exit of turn 10. He was able to save it, but only just. It looked like his fate was signed, sealed and delivered already, but he was able to actually change his fate, and I'm sure the top 4 now are going to pit. They have to, surely.
Wet. They're going onto the wet compound, I think.
I don't think it's that wet.
I think that's what's going to be happening. I see that
No,
Ferrari.
intermediates.
No, because it was looking like it was getting a bit more wetter, and no joke, is Chuck going to get the lead? No, he isn't. I thought he was. With Tiny, it looked like he was getting held there a little, but Sticky Panda's actually managed to make the jump on the Williams, and Sticky Panda's actually up into second now.
And Coit's Gamer now, look at that, going around the outside at turn 2 on Chuckle. Now trying to go around the outside with Super Striker at turn 3. He's only just given enough space. The outside going to turn into the inside here. He's got 2 places and 2 corners and slides out of turn 4 for good measure as well.
I will say it was just a slight bit cheeky there from Super Striker there, just giving him a bit much of a squeeze, I would say, into that wall. But hard fighting, but fair, I will say. But yeah, managing to go up from 6th place up into 4th there. Well, I say that, Super Striker just comes flying past, and is it just me? There we go, DRS has now been disabled. Super Striker just being the last one to get it, and actually managed to make an overtake with it. What would happen if it actually closed? Oh, Matt and Lee actually battling out. Matt actually getting a little bit of contact there with Lee and getting a wee bump off the track. But I wonder what would happen if you had the DRS already open and it says DRS disabled. Does it just
I think it just closes. Yeah, I think it does.
Ah.
And obviously, if it doesn't, it just closes at the end of the straight, which I think is probably the more likely of the two, to be fair.
Yeah, most likely. Hopefully we'll look at Chuck though. He's still sitting behind Sticky Panda. I'm unsure if he's going to be able to catch up enough. The Sticky Panda's battery is looking quite saucy at the moment. Same with Chuckle, but we do know that in these wet conditions the battery does tend to recharge quite a bit. And there we go, we're just seeing Stephen Jones' AI coming into the pits now to fit them.
Chuck's round.
Who's that? Chuck!
The championship leader is round at turn 7 and 8. That's not what he had planned for today. He was in the running to fight for the win as Tiny's got himself a 3-second time penalty. Sticky Panda, though, now in a very good position.
Yep, he certainly is. He's sitting 1.5 seconds off of Tiny, who's actually got a 3-second time penalty. So, Sticky Panda, we'll have a wee quick check and we'll see how things will go for him.
Let's look at this battle for 3rd place between Coit's Gamer, Super Striker and Chuckle. Very, very close between the three. Realistically, it's going to be Super Striker if it stays like this who takes that 3rd place because he's the only one without a time penalty. Chuckle having 3 seconds and 6 seconds for Coit's Gamer as they go down into turns 1 and 2.
What? Right, I just noticed on lap 17 here, Lee gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 21 warnings. That is not right. That is a bug, I think. It's got to be.
Yeah, because he's got 18 seconds at the moment. That's an awful lot of penalties. He's actually getting closer to being disqualified than back to having no penalties, I think, at this point.
Yeah, I think that is a bit weird, I will say. Definitely.
Well, there's not 21 corners, so I don't understand how he can have 21 penalties. I could understand it, maybe it's Saudi, but maybe not even there, because there's so many walls, you can't even exceed track limits. It's impossible, because the wall stops you.
I would like to see his footage on that lap anyway, definitely.
I'm sure it will pop up in the Discord later, I'm sure it will.
Most definitely, I would say. Having that
Tiny! Almost lost the car there, out of turn 14. Yeah, and that gap after he'd increased it to over 2 seconds, and I was thinking, maybe Tiny's got a chance here. He's just
Sticky Panda.
Yeah, Sticky as well.
Sliding.
Maybe it's getting very wet here, but it's too late now, Lee, to go to the wets, isn't it? They're just going to have to deal with it.
Yep. Yeah, but it's too late now for the wets, and it was like I was saying before. I think it's like in the crossover right now between wets and inters. I was going to say mediums.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
what's the mediums?
big yawn.
Yeah, sorry, I've had a long day. Um,
That's all right.
just over 2 seconds again, the gap, and Tiny has got 2.5 laps to gain another second as Lee spots Chuckle going the long way round Super Striker and up into 4th place. But as I said before, with Super Striker not having a time penalty, as I said that, I thought Super Striker had got a time penalty, but it was Deutz Gamer who now has 12 seconds of time penalties, and he's going to fall down to around 7th or 8th place, I would imagine.
Yeah, but he's going to definitely fall down quite a few places. I'm not sure, maybe that could be part of the bug or whatever, but I think that one is quite continuous there. Chuckle was getting a little bit out of shape on the exit of turn 11 there, and he's just getting a little bit shaky. I'm noticing as I'm watching on board, these cars are suffering quite heavily with understeer as they're going around the corner. You can actually see it, like the front end is just sliding away from them and not behaving the way it's supposed to. You've seen Koyaks are actually going right wide there at turn 3. So
And
it could be vulnerable.
I've just noticed that Tiny is now over that 3-second margin to Sticky Panda. It's really for Sticky Pandas to lose at this point.
Yeah, but it seems he's not actually going. Like, it was like he wasn't managing to get full speed there. I think
Here goes Chuckle again. He's trying to go the long way round at turn 9 and 10. Now the inside line at turn 10. He gets past. We saw it last season with Matthew making a move like that, and we've seen it once again with Chuckle making a move almost identical as Queeks Gamer and Super Striker fighting at turn 11 as well.
Yeah, well, it looked like Super Striker was actually going to go back into the back of Koyaks. It looked like Koyaks was actually moving over to the left-hand side to try and block Super Striker from getting there. And yeah, but then again, Koyaks getting a little bit of shaped contact. Look, that was lucky there for Super Striker, banging the wheels as Koyaks sort of bounced back from the exit at turn 14. And fortunate enough that Super Striker was there, and he managed to get him semi-straight again. Lee, another 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, some of those are going to have to stick, because I think some are genuine. It's just going to be difficult because some of them seemingly are not, as Chuck and Lee actually make contact there, and Chuck pushed Lee into the wall. We're on the last lap, and Tiny somehow now has been able to pull some pace out of the bag, because he's almost at 5 seconds, and the way it's going, he's going to be on course for a 3rd win, and the only driver to have 3 wins this season. And it's looking like that's going to be the case. Sticky Panda is going to get a podium potentially here as well, and it'll be his 3rd podium of the season. So, around the last few corners, the penultimate corner for Tiny, he got very close from being in that 3-second margin, and he has led every single lap this race. And he wins his 3rd race of the season in round 8 and is taking the fight back for the championship. Sticky Panda will be finishing in 2nd. It's also to note our first hat-trick of the season. Tiny taking pole at fastest lap and the win as well. So Super Striker is the last driver on the podium. It's very close to the line between some of these drivers here, as some of them aren't going to fall down with time penalties to their name. Queeks Gamer will end up in 8th place, and now we've got a bit of a wait for Cavalis and Prof.
Yeah, so we're not going to have to be waiting on Stephen, as yeah, that'll just be done straight deal. Prof now making his way to the line, having we got quite good penalties. He's only got 3 seconds, so it's not going to be at all a fuss. But there we go. That is the end of the
Sorry.
And that is the end of the the 29 laps of the Australian Grand Prix. Now, let's have a wee rundown of the order. I've seen Super Striker there just managing to get into the podium positions of third place there. So there we go, we've got Tiny up on top, Sticky Panda in second, and Super Striker in third. So Tiny there managing to get the fastest lap. He got a 3-second time penalty, but he still managed to get a 5.2 second gap to Sticky Panda in second, so he manages to walk away with the win. Sticky Panda was in P2, then it was Super Striker in P3, fourth was Chuckle, Pippo Kennedy was in fifth, and I would say Chuckle could, get my driver of the day anyway. He comes up from 16th to 4th. Nicely done from him, up 12 places. Matt getting sixth. Chuck in 7th. 8th was Koix. Gamer Lee was 9th. Cavalos, the reserve, came in and managed to get a 10th position. And Prof finished in 11th. And I will say Stephen Jones did not attend, I would say. Danny in 13th. 14th is Royal Rumble. No, sorry, my mistake. Danny, Royal Rumble, Dario, GT Order and Pern Boden all did not finish the Grand Prix.
We got there in the end, We got there in the end.
Yeah.
So, thanks everyone for watching today's race. Hope you've all enjoyed it. It was an interesting one, especially towards the front. So there was battles throughout, apart from when we had those two safety cars. We'll be back next week on Monday with Lee, as per usual, for GP1. Can you remember the track, Lee?
I literally just said it the other day.
It'll take me but a moment. It is 3, 2, 1. It is going to be Austria. So that's a bit funny. Lee made a joke earlier saying today was Austria, not Australia, where I almost had a bit of a panic attack after doing the notes. Anyway, yeah, we will be in Austria on Monday with Lee. And, of course, me and Lee will be back next week. Were you about to take the words out of my mouth?
No, it was just a way to say next week on Thursday it's going to be, just like what you were saying earlier on, was Saudi Arabia. So we're going to be at the Jeddah Corniche circuit next Thursday at 8 p.m. UK time on April the 25th. So, I'm going to be looking forward to them both races. What about yourself?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Saudi, and then we got Qatar after that, haven't we? And then the 3 extra races of Silverstone, Monza, and Abu Dhabi. So got some 3 extra races that were good choices as well from the admin, so well done. Anyway, as I said, we'll be back next week. Thank you for the extra subscribers, over 370 subs now, and getting on our way to the 400 mark. I'm still going to commit to the 400 by the end of the season. You've got 3 extra races to do it as well. Obviously with the deal I said about some merch, so keep subscribing if you haven't done so already. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next Monday. Until then, it's goodbye from me and from Nate.
Peace out.